Hello weirdos, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and this is part 2 of the Elisa Lam video. We are talking conspiracy theories surrounding her death. So if you have not watched it, go back and watch Elisa Lam part 1. That is where we discuss her case and we give you all of the nitty-gritty details of her death. This video is looking at all of the conspiracy theories, or at least the most popular conspiracy theories surrounding her death. So go check that out. If you haven't already, then come back and we are going to talk conspiracy. A ton of theories surrounding her death. I'm going to present to you the most popular ones. Some of them are popular and I don't know why they seem ridiculous, but whatever. We're going to go through them. I've got them written down. Well, first we're going to look at the most obvious suggestion is that she was murdered. Now, no one has found any evidence saying that she wasn't a victim of murder. I mean, no one's really found anything, but they definitely haven't found evidence that she wasn't a victim of murder. A lot of people like the theory that a hotel worker killed her. After all, only a hotel worker would have the code to get onto the roof to get her into the water tower. So a lot of people think that it was a hotel worker, maybe a maintenance man or like a maid or something that had killed her. She had also, so Elisa had this blog, it was just sort of like a diary blog. And while she was staying at the Hotel Cecil, she had mentioned that there were a lot of creepers in the hotel. Was she just saying that the guys in the hotel were weird, or was she talking about a very specific creeper that maybe ended up killing her? Number 2, she was assassinated by the military. Now, I find this one to be completely ridiculous. So the theory goes that one time, Elisa had posted something about a cloaking device that the military was experimenting with. Now, the theory goes that she actually knew way more than she was leading on with those tweets and that she was talking with military people. And because she knew too much, the military killed her. And in that video of her acting strangely outside of the elevator is her fighting off an invisible assailant, someone wearing an invisibility cloak and trying to assassinate her. And that's what she's doing. She's fighting off someone in an invisibility cloak. That one to me is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and I don't believe that at all. Theory number 3, it was paranormal. So like we said in the first video, there's a very dark past at the Hotel Cecil. There was a couple of serial killers that stayed there. There was a bunch of suicides. There was a vicious rape and murder. And so the theory goes that she's being tormented by demons and by ghosts, and that is what killed her and put her in the water tank. And the video is her fighting off the ghosts. That one seems pretty ridiculous also, but you know, I think that's almost more believable than she was assassinated because she knew too much about an invisibility cloak. Option number 4, this is actually kind of like 3-1 because this is still kind of paranormal. She was trying to access another dimension. There is a Korean elevator game where you go, and I'm going to put the instructions to the Korean elevator game here. Basically, you have to go to a building with at least 10 floors. You go on to the elevator, you push a series of buttons, and then when the door opens up, you see another dimension. And there's a bunch of rules you have to follow. One of them being if anything seems off about this new floor that you're on, don't get off the elevator. Another one is that a woman will get onto the elevator and try to talk to you. You're not supposed to talk to the woman or else a bunch of bad stuff happens. She both got off the elevator and then back on, and it seemed like she was talking to someone. So was she playing this interdimensional travel elevator game and she broke rules and that is what ended her life? Did she piss off someone in an alternate dimension which led to her being naked in a water tower? Number 5. This one is actually, you know, this one is maybe. She was a TB drug test patsy. So at this time in LA, there was a huge outbreak of TB amongst the homeless people. Now, the Hotel Cecil is right smack dab in the middle of Skid Row in LA. If you've ever been there, it's a lot of homeless camps. It's really dingy and dirty, and they had a TB outbreak. So since there was no TB medication in her system and there was no evidence of her having TB, the theory goes, it was a test that was going on at that time that was being used to test people to see if they have TB. Enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. For short, it was called Lam Elisa. What are the odds of that? So the side effects of this test are confusion and abnormal behavior, which is exactly what we saw Elisa doing. So the theory goes that there is no Elisa Lam. She doesn't exist. Or at least she was never murdered at the Hotel Cecil. But if there was a government-sanctioned TB outbreak in the middle of downtown LA, and it was both started and spread by the government, and the test that tested for TB that they were working on, called Lam Elisa, someone had bizarre behavior and was acting confused and died a weird, crazy, strange death with weird surveillance footage, who just happened to be named Elisa Lam. If you were to Google strange behavior and Elisa Lam, or strange behavior and Lam Elisa, what's going to pop up on Google? The story. So they used this whole case as a way to hide the fact that they were purposely infecting the homeless people of LA with TB so that they could try out this new Lam Elisa test. You know, with what we know about the government, that doesn't seem super far-fetched, does it? The final theory, and the one, unfortunately, that I lean more towards, is that she had a psychotic break. She snapped and she killed herself because of it. Not that she was suicidal, but her psychosis caused her to kill herself. Look, Elisa Lam was on medication. She was on a lot of medication. She was on antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers. We know from her toxicology report that she was not taking her medication. She hadn't in days. So by the 31st of January, she was starting to come down from her medication. She was starting to have side effects from not having those chemicals in her body. And I think that's what we see when she's on the elevator. I think she's having a psychotic break. She's detaching from reality. She's disassociating. And I think just one thing led to another, and she wound up in the water tower. I don't think it's as crazy as people make it out to be. I think it's really sad. I think it's unfortunate that when people get on those kinds of medications, they start to feel better and they think they don't need the medication, so they stop taking it, and then they start to feel worse. Or because she was on vacation, maybe she ran out of medication. Maybe she didn't have any more. I don't know, but I don't think it's the government. I don't think it's a TB test, although that's a really good theory. I think she was just a sick woman who needed medication, didn't take it, and one thing led to another, and she wound up in a water tank. Unfortunately. I love conspiracy theories. I think they're the best, but you know, the easiest explanation is normally the right one. What is that, Occam's razor? I don't know. I know it's not the super climactic ending where it was like the government's out to get us all, but no, not all the time. Let me know in the comments what you think happened. I know this was a shorter video, but I did want to make it a two-parter so it didn't get, you know, the other video didn't get weighed down. Let me know in the comments what you think happened, what you think is the most believable scenario. Maybe you do think the TB testing, or maybe you think the cloaking device is the best one. I don't know. I'd like to know what you think, or I'd just like to know that you stopped by. I love it when you say hi. It just makes me feel really connected to you guys. I've, of course, as always, linked all of my crapola in the description. I'm still trying out that Linktree link to see if it works. If you click on it, it brings you to everything. It brings me to my it brings you to my Instagram. It brings you to my merch, which is still available. Weirdo shirts and Albert Fish shirts. Those are all still up for grabs. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to know before everybody else when these videos come out. And I will hopefully see you in the next one. None of us are saints. I love you so much, and I hope you guys have just the best rest of your day. And don't forget to take your medication. wind up in a water tower. All right, guys. Bye.